Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar, Moving to the Cloud with DaVinci. I thought we'd start off with some quick introductions. I'll start with me. My name is Kelly Nauman. I'm a Customer Success Project Manager here at AMC Technology. I've worked in the customer success space for about 6 years now, and my role is to collaborate with both our customers and our internal teams here to ensure everybody's happy and all our customers are making the most out of their investment in the DaVinci platform. With me today is David Grant. David, a few words?
Yeah, so as Kelly said, my name is David Grant. I'm an account executive here at AMC Technology. I've been with AMC for just over a year and a half now, but I've been in sales for around 4.5 years. Really excited to show you guys today exactly how DaVinci can help your organization and your contact center move to the cloud effectively.
That's great. Thank you, David. And we also have Paul Martin.
Hey guys, Paul Martin, SD at AMC Technology. The S stands for solution, support, and in the end, success. And I'll be here to help David along with the video or the actual demo of the webinar.
Great, thanks guys. So David, just a quick icebreaker. What are your summer plans? Do you have anything good?
We have a puppy at this point in time, so my summer plans are not mine. They belong to him. So wherever it is the puppy goes, I will be in tow.
That sounds delightful. Paul, what about you?
Just hanging out at the pool, but of course, the multiple weekends to get everything all set up and get ready for that.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
gonna make it well worth it.
That sounds good. Yeah, I heard there's actually like a bleach shortage or a chlorine, that's what it was.
Luckily, I have the salt generators.
Oh, perfect. You love it. Okay. And my summer plans, since everybody asked, nothing. Also by the pool, I've got a trip out to Shenandoah planned later this year, so some mountain time. Yeah. So before we get into everything, I just want to go over a couple of housekeeping items and updates. We do have some time reserved at the end of this webinar for some Q&A. We should have a good bit of time. So if you have any questions about what you're learning today or anything else, feel free to use the questions panel on your little GoToWebinar bit over to the side to type your questions in, and we'll get to those at the end of the presentation. After we are done here today, we will package up the recording and the slides, and we will send all of those out to you in case you aren't able to make it live, or you've got some coworkers who couldn't make it. We'll make it easy to share after the fact. And then just a couple quick news and updates from our end. We have the new DaVinci Workspace, which is an offering that takes that DaVinci flexibility that you're familiar with or should be familiar with even further by allowing you to integrate with homegrown applications and build custom workflows to get you that ideal agent experience. You'll have the link afterwards to check out more on that. For our current AMC customers, we have some MVP program updates to focus on collaboration and give you some incentives to work together with us. So if you're interested in that, let me know. And then, as always, we encourage you to check out the news and events page, as well as our LinkedIn page for all the latest and greatest on AMC Technology. So I think we're going to flip over to the agenda. Yep, so short and sweet. We're going to do, David's going to take us through a quick introduction for those of you who aren't familiar with our company. I think most of you are, but some of you may not be. I know we have a few newbies in the audience today. And then David's going to run you through 5 different ways that we can bring you to the cloud, and you can benefit from all of the DaVinci greatness once you make that leap. Paul is going to do a quick demo of our cloud solution, and then we will finish out with some Q&A. So if that all sounds good, David, I think I'll turn it over to you at this point.
All right, awesome. So to start things off, we want to kind of introduce you to AMC Technology because, as Kelly said, there are some who aren't familiar with us. So AMC is a 26-year-old company that has prided itself on bringing people together through better interactions. And throughout these 26 years, we've been lucky enough to work in many different verticals and solve many unique problems for our customers. The innovative solutions that have been built by the amazing people here at AMC Technology are a large reason why we have solved these problems. And the next hill that we're helping companies climb is the move to the cloud. In the brief presentation to follow and the demo by Paul Martin, we're going to show you the 5 ways that DaVinci can move you to the cloud. So strap in while this car salesman turned political science major turned account executive, former blueberry farmer as well, walks you through exactly how to move to the cloud. And the first step are baby steps, as they usually are. So with DaVinci, our flagship product, your organization does not need to move to the cloud right away. We know that you have spent a lot of time and energy on your premise telephony systems, and we want you to leverage those investments while you look for the right application and product to potentially replace them. When you do select the cloud product that you'd like to move towards, we will partner with you to make that transition seamless for your agents. We are offering you options, not obligations. You will not be tied to a single CRM or phone system by our product. We're looking to integrate with whatever it is will make your contact center environment exactly what it is you're looking to make it. Step number 2, or the second reason, or the second way that we'll move you to the cloud. We know how much time and energy that went towards configuring your premise application user settings. And if you're currently using DaVinci, we know how much time and energy went towards doing that within Creator Studio. So by using DaVinci's Creator Studio, we will be able to carry those configurations over to your new application. So if you have pre-configurable call notes your agents use frequently, or numbers they call often, we can ensure that those settings carry from one DaVinci application to the next. This is also a huge plus for large contact centers, 300, 400, 500 agents or more. We want you to spend less time in spreadsheets with agent configuration settings and agent names, and more time solving your customers' problems. As Lionel Richie once so eloquently said, it's easy like Sunday morning. I just gave away my favorite slide. The third way that we're going to help you move to the cloud is we're going to do the work, or we've done a lot of the work for you already. One aspect of moving to the cloud that is really daunting is the integration aspect of things. And there are many companies that offer integration with premise telephony applications, but there aren't quite as many options for integrating with cloud telephony. Fortunately, we have pre-built applications, most of which you see right here, and integrations to those applications for popular cloud telephony providers, including Amazon Connect, Twilio, and Genesys Pure Cloud. So as I mentioned in the previous slide, you'll be able to move your configurations from your premise telephony apps to your new cloud apps, and you're going to be able to do it seamlessly. Now, one other thing that bears mentioning, and this actually came up in a call I had this morning with a customer. Let's say that you're currently using a premise telephony system and you're looking to move to a cloud telephony system, but you're not doing it all at once. That's quite a big uplift, and you've got a lot of you have a lot of things that you need to do for your current customers while you're doing this transition. With DaVinci, you're going to be able to use that premise telephony application while you also have some agents on your new cloud application. So you can move those agents over in waves and train them when it best works for you, rather than doing it all at once. That's just the flexibility of DaVinci. But what happens if you pick an application that we do not have something built for? In the first way DaVinci will move you to the cloud, I mentioned that DaVinci gives you options, not obligations. With DaVinci, our open framework and public APIs, you can build your own apps for the cloud solution that you choose. You are also able to work with our developers and the team here at AMC Technology to build out that solution. We do strive, and have more so lately, to have an incredibly collaborative relationship with our customers. And this is another way that we could do that. So if you do decide that you would like to integrate with an application that we do not currently have a integration with, let us know. We are more than happy to work with you or to support your team as they build the application and make your dream contact center environment become reality. And this is my favorite slide because, who doesn't have wonderful memories of Bob the Builder? And our final way that DaVinci will move you to the cloud is that we're going to have all of your agent work items within a single pane of glass. No more musical chairs or dual monitors for your agents. We want all of their work items to be right in front of them. We have seen this approach cut customer call times by 30 seconds per call for one of our larger customers. So, 30 seconds per call, that's a lot of time back in your agent's days to solve even more customer problems and to make sure that the problems that they're solving aren't going to crop up again. It's really going to free your agents up to just have a better time on the calls with the customers, and the customers in turn are going to feel much better calling your call center and are going to feel as though they're not spending their entire day on the phone with your agents, which nobody wants. Now, moving to the cloud is a big deal for organizations. So there is some thinking that has to be done to make that happen. The first one is that it's really important to understand your customer flows. Doing this will ensure that your customers and agents have a pleasurable experience as you move from one application to the next. The second one is the agent experience. How would you like your agents to use the application? Are they only going to be taking phone calls, or will they be handling chats as well? Or are you going to have some super agents that are doing it all at the same time? These are all things that you should consider while you're moving to the cloud, and they're all things that DaVinci can support. And they're all things that myself and my fellow account executives, Kelly, and our fellow solution engineers, including Paul, are more than happy to work with you on and really make sure that you're making the best decisions for your call center. If you're moving from a premise configuration to a cloud configuration, what's your current premise configuration and reporting? What is it that's working well for you? What is it that you want to see move with you to the cloud? Keeping as much consistency and experiences as possible is something that can only bring positives with the change. The fourth step has to do with those baby steps. Maybe you don't want to move to the cloud fully right away. Perhaps you just want to add some digital channels to your premise voice environment. And that's something that Paul is going to be demoing for us, adding an SMS thing to your premise environment so that you're not moving all at once. And the fifth part is, let's start a pilot. This is really the best way to get business buy-in. This is the best way to make champions out of your agents. And this is the best way to determine what it is that's going to work best for you. Choosing a small number of agents to champion this new model is really the best way to ensure that you're making the right decision. I can tell you all the positive things in the world. Paul can tell you all the positive things in the world. But you've really got to, we want you to prove us right. We want you to start a pilot and really put what it is that we've said to the test. Now, one thing that's at the top of everybody's mind when we're talking about moving to the cloud is security. You can't see the cloud, and that scares some people. And before I started working here at AMC Technology, I was really skeptical about the cloud. I didn't really understand what was happening either. So one thing that we take really seriously here, and we consider it a top priority, is security. With AMC Technology, we're not interested in your data. Your data is not being held by us. We are not removing your data from your environment. As such, your data is secure from your telephony system to your CRM. It's fully encrypted. Nobody's getting at your data. And on top of all of that, we maintain a 100% Microsoft Azure security score. We have a CRS star certification, and we're HIPAA and GDPR compliant. Security, I can't stress this enough, is the number one priority here at AMC Technology. Also, many customers, when they're moving to the cloud, they have an internal security review. We want to do that with you. We want you to go through DaVinci with a fine-tooth comb and figure out if we are as secure as we say that we are. We want to prove to you that DaVinci is as safe and secure as we claim that it is. Now, before we move into the demo, I do want to show you a little bit about what it is that you're going to see. I want to go over the DaVinci agent UI here with you. Now, as a car salesperson, I dealt with over 1,500 customers and went on over 2,000 test drives. And the scariest test drives I went on were the ones where I forgot to show people how to use the buttons in the car, because that's all they looked at while they were driving. So rather than deal with any distracted driving here, I want to show you what some of the buttons do on our soft phone. So up here, you do have the agent state control. This is configured within your phone system, whether you want it to read that somebody could go on to lunch, break, how long you want their after call work to be. That's all configured within your phone system, and it pushes it right into here. So clicking this button allows you to log in, it allows you to log out, and it allows you to change your agent state. This right here, you could also you could type numbers in that you're looking to call. And here you do have the call state. So you can see that this person is on a call, it's inbound, and they've been on the call for 2 minutes and 7 seconds. You do see the number that the person called in from, and you do also have some contextual call controls, including hanging up, putting them on hold, transferring, blind transferring, and conference. Down here, you do have some information on the activity that this screen popped to. And you also do have a place where you could type some notes. Rather than spending a lot of time in CRM, you could type it all right here. And down here are some of those preconfigurable call notes, say that 4 times fast, that I referenced in an earlier slide. So you can pre-configure these. So if somebody has a request that they're calling in about all the time, you have a majority of customers that are calling in and saying the same thing, you can configure those buttons to basically convey that message so that your agent isn't spending all their time typing the same thing over and over again. And on this particular soft phone that we have for Salesforce, for the DaVinci Agent UI, you can create entities throughout the agent's workday right here. So that's a brief overview of our DaVinci Agent for Salesforce, which is the environment that Paul is going to be demoing in. Now, I mentioned Creator Studio, but I do want to show you this as well because Paul will be going over it. This holds our apps. This is where you can plug and play applications, manage user profiles, add and delete licenses, purchase licenses, all that fun stuff. I obviously would prefer that you call me and speak to me because I do love talking to people. But you are able to add licenses right from here without calling to talk to me. Now here we do have listed all of our available apps, and Paul's going to show you how to plug and play these applications and set up your environment. And so without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to Paul Martin so that he can walk you through a quick demo of DaVinci and how we can help you move to the cloud.
Hey, David.
Yes.
Before I am going to throw in a little further ado because
Ooh.
I have a poll that
Yes.
that I created. We're just curious, for all of the people who joined today. We want to know where you guys are in your journey to the cloud, because I feel like, Paul, you and I and David and I have talked to so many different customers. It feels like everybody's sort of at a different stage. Every now and then I'll hear, no, we're not moving to cloud at all. We can't, for this or that. So it seems like everybody's at a different place. So I just want to know, where are you guys? So just take a moment. You should see the poll on your screen. Click a button, and we'll just take a quick break before we turn it over to Paul. I'm really building the suspense here, I think. So.
Oh yeah, I'm on the edge of my seat, Kelly.
Yeah, I know I've got the whole seat here, but I only need the edge. So while we're waiting for people to complete the poll, David, I will call on you as the unofficial spokesman for the state of Maine.
Yes.
To tell us more about what makes Maine so great.
I like to tell people that I have 2 full-time jobs, an account executive for AMC Technology and chief marketing officer for the state of Maine. The state of Maine is a wonderful place. It's the crown jewel of New England, in my ever so humble opinion, given that we do sit on the top and we do have the nicest people. Not to say anything about the wonderful people of like Massachusetts, as I'm pretty sure that we do have a couple of people on the call from Massachusetts, but whereas as the Ballad of the 20th Maine by the ghost of Paul Revere so eloquently said, we're as steadfast as Katahdin and as hard as winter's rain. But we're also extremely nice and would love to hold the door for you too. But please bring your tourist money. We need it.
Well, we were talking about summer plans earlier. Maybe encourage some people to
come on down.
Yeah, come on up, or well, I mean,
or up. Yeah, I guess technically it would be coming on up. You're right.
All right, cool. I think we've had a good responses come in already. I might give it just one more second before we turn it over, before I close it out. But yeah, it looks like a variety pack of answers here. Everybody's sort of all across the spectrum. That's not a surprise at all. So I'll give it, I think everybody's voted who's going to vote. So I'm going to close this out real quick. Let's see if I can share it before we turn it over to Paul. Yep, so here it is. So as I suspected, if you're on the call, you're probably at least considering moving to cloud. And it looks like the majority of people who answered are already, have already made that jump in some areas. So great to hear. It shouldn't be, once you start, I feel like a lot of organizations, once they take that first baby step, as David said, the process gets a little more easier and more familiar with people. So great. Okay. That's all for the poll. Thanks for voting, everybody. That was really exciting.
Woohoo.
So I'm going to pass you, Paul, the mic at this point, and the screen.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, we have everything we need. All right, hopefully everybody can see my screen. And what we're going to do here is, I'm gonna move this over. We're going to talk about Frank. Frank's IT guy at this AMC Corp. He likes us because, of course, we're AMC Technology. So Frank has been around for a while. He's actually already built on AMC in the past on his premise switch, and he's kind of looking towards maybe moving into something else, but he's not really sure. So, off the top, he's already using our products. So what he has here already is kind of, I'm going to use a simulator only because it makes it easier. Plus, it's a little agnostic to what premise switches are out there today. But you can look at the you can actually look at the actual simulator as your premise switch, and this is what what Frank's using today. And then what we'll probably go and do, Frank has been asked by the business to bring in some SMS, and he's wondering what to use, and he has a couple solutions. So what we're doing here is, as David had mentioned, we're in the Creator Studio right now. Creator Studios are kind of our core of what we do, and the ability to add apps, switch apps, create, as he said, create profiles, have different types of profiles. You can see that Frank's pretty busy because he's got all these different apps down here. And Frank would normally, in general, probably not want to use all these apps, but he's pretty diligent. So he's out there doing what he wants to do. Normally, if you would just have a few apps. If you signed up, and I will state with the simulator, it's great because you guys can go out there and you can play with this without really connecting it to a switch just yet, or connecting it to a real cloud product, because the simulator can be its own little cloud. Great for testing, great for a lot of different things. We use it a lot in our demos too, of course. But that said, you can go out, if you came in here, let's say you were going out, and I am going to use Salesforce. I know I said it'd be agnostic, but I do want to just show one I'm kind of familiar with and how you can bring it in there, and that's what Frank's using too. So we'll show that, and then we'll go over to over to the actual, going to bring in like Twilio Flex just to show some SMS. So normally, like I said, if you were going in here and you were just starting off, you're going out to create an account, and I do have some links out there if you wanted to create an account in Creator Studio, and maybe from a Salesforce perspective, you want to look at this. I think there's a link out there, how to do it in 15 minutes. You can have this up and running and working with it in 15 minutes. And I've already done it multiple times in less than 15, so I actually put it a little bit ahead in case someone who's brand new going in there. So what I'd wanted to do was just pretend, hey, this was actually someone brand new coming in here, but they only had a couple apps and they did want to go look at some more apps. What we do have is our app gallery. So if you're on our main site, you can go out to the app gallery at any point in time, or if you're into Creator Studio already and you need some new apps, you can come over here and install those apps. So you can see the little green check mark on these apps. That means that they are already installed. But if they're not, you click on it and you can install it pretty quickly. And once you're done, you would just come back. I already have the apps I need, so I'm not gonna go into that too much. So we'll come back and we'll look at, get back into Frank over here and what he has. So what I wanted to do first was kind of just demonstrate. I know David already went through a lot of the buttons and everything, so I want to kind of demonstrate what Frank already has. He basically has a Salesforce, he has a simulator in place, and he has a kind of a speed dial, which I will add something to that to show you what the difference is for that in a second here. So let's go over to our Salesforce screen real quick. And you can see I'm logged in as an agent for Frank's business, and I'm kind of waiting here. We'll go into a ready state. We'll bring a call in. So we have some calls in the queue. Call comes in, and you can see the first button that's showing here is this little icon for it with a kind of speaker coming out of it. And if I hover over, it says answer call. So I'm just going to answer it. And you can see the way that buttons dynamically change based on what I'm doing. So what just happened? Call came in, answered it, and we had Parker. So Parker is on the screen, and he is in our activity area, which I'll get to in a second. But we can see in those buttons for the dynamic perspective, we have the hold, we have the blind transfer, which is a non-consultative type transfer. If you just want to send it to a survey or to a voicemail or something, you don't really care where that call's going. Or you can have your warm transfer where you really want to be sure you're getting it off to the correct person. And then of course your conference, being able to conference in maybe your supervisor, whoever else. The call popped, not because of this number here, but if you look in his details, we will pop on any number that is associated to a record, whether, whatever CRM you're using, those numbers are all kind of somewhere within the systems, and they all kind of work the same. So you can see this number was actually in here as his home phone, and this is just his regular phone up here. One other thing I wanted to just show on here was one is the activity information that's coming in. Every call that comes in is going to get created as an activity. You can report on those. I think you saw when I first came in. I can't remember if you saw that when I first came in or not actually now. So kind of go over to this tab, kind of reports on what you can see from all the calls that are coming in. Those calls are in the Salesforce world, and in most worlds, some sort of activity is coming in, and they're set up to specific types, whether there be an actual email, a phone call, an SMS, a chat, whatever it happens to be. Go back over to Parker here, and you can see there's been some activity. I'm just going to quickly go on to an opportunity he had that he might be coming in and talking about. And you can see in the relate to field, the opportunity goes in here. So in most cases, and I know in, say, in Microsoft world, they may be the same thing, or in another world like a ServiceNow, whatever it happens to be. There's going to be some differences, but in this case, the name person is who I'm talking to, and the relate to is what I'm talking about. And a quick little information about the call, the phone number that it came in on. So there's one other thing up here in the top he called the sales. So kind of the queue, the information that was sent across from the actual queue came in, and so that maybe this person might be doing multiple things, and we'll get to that in a little bit, where this agent may actually be switching over to service, or maybe doing sales and service. So this person, at this point, they're calling the sales queue. You can see that down here, we do have an area to enter some comments, so that goes into the activity. And we have some quick comment areas down here. So everything is highly configurable. You can change anything you want. One thing I wanted to just kind of show is if I do click on one of these quick comments, you can see I also took that information that came in from an IVR or switch prompting up here within the call itself to show the agent that you can bring this information into the quick comments as well. Makes it pretty quick and easy for you to bring that in and put in some multi-line. So if you need to type something in as an agent, it makes it a lot quicker for them than to constantly have to type that stuff over and over. And as David said, we do have some quick new areas down here. So if you wanted to quickly create an opportunity, a lead, or a case, you have that ability to go in and do that stuff. So it kind of gives, again, we'll get into even more single glass type information, but for this, gives everything they need as a very quick click so they can get to it. And salespeople may want to click the dial, and they may want to do other things too. So they have those abilities within Salesforce. I'm not going to go too much into all of the abilities that this has to do, because this was more focused on how do I take those baby steps to get from this that I'm on right now to maybe bringing in a digital channel. So I spent hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars to get my actual premise system up to speed to where it needs to be today. And that was just last year. Maybe I'm not ready to just fully move into that cloud, but I do like the idea of getting some of those digital channels into my system. So Frank has been, kind of commandeered to do that. What can I do? He's contacting us. They want SMS. How can I get that in there? We'll talk to them. Again, we're a little agnostic. We may focus a little bit more on the Twilio side because we do now resell a little bit of that. But in general, we're going to tell him what he wants to hear. And he's going to bring in whatever it is he wants to bring in. Because we do, if you go back to those, that slide, or not slide, but when you go back to Contact Canvas, you'll see, again, all those different apps that you can choose from. But in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and end that call. That activity is going to be saved. You can see you can go back into your recent activities and do whatever you need to do. But for now, what I'm going to do is just kind of close down some of this information that we had coming in from that call. And we're going to go back to our Creator Studio. So as I mentioned, you have all these different apps. Easy is just going down and adding that app to the, to your actually, your configured apps. So you could just click on it, bring it in, and then you would configure it. To save some time, what I did was I created this other profile already. And you see the one difference that happened with that profile is that I brought in Twilio Flex. So I'm going to use Twilio Flex for SMS. And the reason I did that, there's a few things that you're going to have to configure when you go into one of these apps. In this case, there's just some, information that you may want to bring in for your actual system so that you can get it up and running. And then, but for this, I already brought it in, so it's all pre-configured. So what I'm going to do is go over to my agent, and it was me that was logging in there. I'm just going to go ahead and quickly change myself to the service. So, again, you have this ability to create these profiles. You may have other applications in-house that you want to build out. Kelly had already mentioned about our workspace area where you can build out your own thing, play around with one of the other systems that are out there if you wanted to maybe get a screen popper or whatever you want to do with that. So yeah, I changed my agent to the service, and I'm going to go back to my actual system. I'm just going to pretend, maybe that supervisor changed that over that night before or whatever it happens to be. I'm just going to log my agent out real quick. And then what I'll do is I'll just log him back in. So if he's coming in the next day, he's been told, hey, by the way, you're no longer a salesperson, you're now a service representative, or maybe you're doing both. Who knows? This guy's very up on all this.
Many hats.
Yeah, many hats, exactly. So we'll just log him back in. And what we're going to see now is that this is just a quick little lesson, kind of a sample type thing that pops up to get us into Twilio. And the difference here now is you see there's a couple buttons down here. If I hover over them, that's still that simulator we had, which is representing our actual premise switch. But we have this other little button that some people might be familiar with. It looks like a button actually, but it's the actual headset of the old telephones back in the day. If you looked at the other end of it, it had the little 4 areas that you would listen into. That's what Twilio, that's what their symbol means. So I'm going to go over to that and just allow my sound notifications. And what I'll do is I got my trusty success manager sitting across the way here. So what Kelly's going to do is we're going to go in and just put ourselves into a ready state. And instead of getting that phone call this time, Kelly's going to send us over a text message. And bam, we have our text message. So in this case, sorry, I didn't put Kelly's number in as a actual contact, so there was no specific screen pop, but we're just kind of showing you the ability to actually get in here and quickly, do a text message back and forth. So you get that ability to go back and forth, be able to put your notes in still and do what you need to do to get that over into Salesforce as an activity.
That was really fast. It was like seconds.
Yeah, I mean,
I love it.
Seconds, milliseconds.
All right.
No, it's all good. So that just kind of shows you how quickly. I'll just go ahead and text, and we'll go because we're in text. We'll go out of our work wrap up and get back into here in case we want to get some more phone calls and things. So that is how quickly you can actually go in and set something up. So one of the things I wanted to quickly show as well. I'll just log out. I'm going to put myself back into the sales. We just kind of look at our apps. And I did kind of not, or I probably shouldn't have put that in at the very beginning because I was going to show you how to quickly just put something in here. So if I put in like, I'll just put in supervisor. And I give it a value, whatever it has to be. It can be an extension of real phone number. I'll just throw in a quick phone number here and save that. Now that would be as simple as actually, you know what, real quickly, I'll just kind of remove it because you can remove these apps. And just to show you that you can put these right back in really quickly. So if you go in, you just add it and you go back up here and I'll throw that back in real quick. Sorry for the confusion there.
We'll edit it in post.
Supervisor, throw in a number for him, her, whoever, them. And we'll go and save that up. Just get rid of that and go back, log back into our. So, you know, Paul gets really confused because he is going back and forth from sales to service quite often, as you can see. And you can see right here, boom, we have the supervisor little area. Kind of looks like those quick creates in the activity. And you now have the ability to put in as many of these as you wish. If we go back to the actual area in here, I did want to bring up that we're constantly adding apps. So if you go back to this, you'll probably see other apps coming in. One of the ones we just did, I think this just came out last week, target dialer, or dial, I shouldn't say dialer. The ability to prefix any kind of dialing gives you that ability. I think as our friend David has said, he did work for a car company at one point, and we do have some car companies that want their phone numbers to look like they're coming from a very specific area. So they do that prefixing so they can get those phone numbers going out on their specific. And this isn't dialer type stuff. These are real numbers that these companies own. They just want them to look like they're coming from that specific area. So you do have that ability, and that could be for banks or anything. So you do get those that ability to do that. And again, you can build your own apps, as David had said. They may not show up here unless you want them to, but you can have them in your own repositories and things. So that gives you a good ability to do whatever it is you wish to do. Oh, and don't forget, you do have this ability to come and chat with us at any point in time. Well, I should say the robot, DaVinci will chat with you. And that's pretty much it for what I had to show. Just again, the quick ability to go back and forth from whether it be a profile, adding a digital channel. It could have been chat. It can be, again, any one of these, Amazon Connect, Genesis Pure Cloud. These cloud-based ones gives you that ability, again, to baby step over into taking on a channel before you have that full requirement to move into the cloud. And Kelly?
All right.
David?
Great.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Paul. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. Cool. So I think that wraps up the show and tell. So now we'll switch into answering a few questions. We've got plenty of time. So you feel free to drop in a question and we'll get it addressed right here live. So we have a few already that came in. So I'll just go ahead and get us kicked off here. So this one, let's just lead with the big cost. Sorry, spoiler. The big question on everybody's mind, and this one is for David, and it's cost. What kind of cost is involved for moving to the cloud? Steve wants to know.
Yeah, so there's a couple things that go into the cost of moving to the cloud. Obviously, you have the actual move to the cloud, nothing to do with DaVinci. You know, your licensing costs with whatever telephony it is that you choose to move, cloud telephony you choose to move to, and things of that nature. But when it comes to AMC Technology, if you currently have licenses with us, and you currently have managed services with us, and you're moving from a premise application to a cloud application, the cost for us that we charge you to do that move is $0. If you don't have managed services, there are some professional service costs, but it's minimal compared to the value that you're going to receive. All of our customers moving forward, when you make a purchase with AMC Technology, you are getting managed services included in your purchase as well as implementation. So if you do sign up with us and you move from your premise application, or you move from one CRM to another CRM, the cost for us to move those licenses for you and work through the configuration with you is $0. It is free. So that makes it pretty easy.
No coupon code needed?
No coupon code needed. However, if you want to, again, please bring your money to Maine. I'd probably, show you a good time in Bar Harbor or something, but no coupon needed.
Fair. Okay. Thank you. All right. Here's one. I think, Paul, this one would probably be good for you. Carol wants to know, how long do cloud migrations typically take for DaVinci, and what does a typical migration path look like?
Yeah, and something I think we probably didn't go into too deep in here, and that is, although this demo was around bringing in a digital channel in a premise world, we do support, as I think David has mentioned and Kelly, that we do support full cloud, we do support hybrid, and just premise itself if you still are looking to be just premise. So to move into the cloud, it depends on, again, if you're going into this hybrid world or you're going into a pure cloud. Let's say you're doing pure cloud. You're doing something like Amazon Connect or Twilio or whatever it happens to be, and you're using Salesforce service, Oracle CX service, or ServiceNow, whatever it happens to be, as long as everything is in the cloud. From our perspective, to get you into and up and running, again, I told you you can get this actual trial done in Salesforce in 15 minutes. It's not a lot longer if you're once you have all your information in front of you. So if you already know, like for the Twilio, it's a cut and paste. I go into Twilio and I cut and paste my information over. I'm ready to go. Same thing basically with Amazon Connect, Genesis Cloud. All of those, they're pretty close. It's going to depend, of course, on what do you want from a backend perspective. Do you want an IVR? Do you want to be able to ask a lot of questions up front? Those types of things. But just a base one, you're looking at hours. You're not looking at days and weeks to get that up and running.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. That's some good news.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Let's take a look at our questions here. This one is kind of related. Also, Paul, I'll kick this one over to you. Pat wants to know, I have a homegrown CRM, but I want to move to Cisco's cloud solution. Can I do that?
The homegrown going to Cisco's cloud, yes. There are different ways. Of course, one, I think David hit on to this quite a bit in his presentation about the fact that you can build your own, or you can get us to build it, or you can use what we have already, a workspace type thing where you can just bring your application into right into the workspace, and then you can, depending on how much you want to go on that. You saw all the different bells and whistles that we have with the Salesforce. You may just want to answer a call and have a screen pop. That's great. Then that's a pretty straightforward, pretty simple transition. If your homegrown has all of these great bells and whistles, it might take a little longer because you may want to have to put in a few more web services and or whatever to get that to actually work the way you want it to. But I think I'm answering that question correctly.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, after this is all done, you guys have any additional questions, you can definitely email us. All that information is going to be there. If I'm not giving you the specific answer you need, feel free to reach out and get even more information.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, we've got a couple more technical questions. So Paul, I'm really gonna lean on you here for these next ones. Actually, I'll kick this one over to David. I know yeah. Jeff wants to know, will our data reside in your cloud?
Oh, that's a really good question, Jeff. No, your data resides in your cloud. We, as I mentioned in my presentation, we don't want your data. Your data is your data, and it will remain your data. It's not leaving your environment. It's not coming to our environment. And as I said in my slide, as somewhat of a challenge, please put us through your internal security review and, prove me right. Or let us prove ourselves right, that is. We would love to do your internal security review if you are considering DaVinci, or if you are considering moving to the cloud, or even if you're a current customer of AMC Technology and you just start doing your annual security audit or something like that. put us through it too. We would love to make sure that everything is working the way that it's supposed to.
Yeah, just to add to that, Dave, I mean, you showed it in your slide, CSA certified. Also, we keep our Azure, we constantly watch it, and we are 100% secure 99.99% of the time.
All right. Okay, great. I will get to Paul. I will hand this one over to you. This is how are updates to DaVinci in the cloud pushed out? So how do we update our software? I think is the question.
Right. I mean, we have two different types of updates. We have the bug fixes. They normally go out through a sprint, and bug fixes are something that will go out and they will be available at that point in time. If it's critical, of course, they're going to go out a little bit sooner, but we try to keep everything on a sprint by sprint basis. If it is a UI type change or someone had an enhancement, they wanted something really cool to go out there, and we decided it was a good fit for the product, for all customers, we do put it out there, but it's in the app that, the next generation. Basically, you would take out your app, put your app back in, and then you can have it. You can put it, this is why it's great to have those profiles. You can have like a test profile. You can test all of this stuff out way in advance before you put it out to your agents. You can train them on it. You can do whatever you wish to do, which gives you that, that flexibility. So you don't have to worry about something coming in the next day and going, what is this? I don't know how to use this. So, but bug fixes, they do go out on a sprint by sprint basis.
That's great. That's one of the benefits, I guess, to moving to cloud in general is that you don't have to wait and plan a whole upgrade if you've got new features that you want to uptake or bug fixes that you need.
Exactly. They're there and whenever you're ready to use them.
Awesome. Okay. I think this is our last question for today, and so I'll let David close us out. This is from Janet. We think we might be ready to move DaVinci into the cloud. How do we get started?
Call me, Janet. No, it's pretty simple. Talk to us. Let us work with you and go over some of those steps and those things that I mentioned that we need to think about. Things like your current premise configuration, the way that you do your reporting, what do you want your agent experience to be like? Let's do a POC. Let's start a pilot. Let's get your agents using DaVinci. It's really quite easy, and we can get working on it, as soon as you say go. We've got a really motivated team, and we have an incredible group of talented individuals who are here and ready to get to work for you.
Great, thank you, David. All right, well, I think that about wraps it up for today. We're closing out a little bit early, so you get 10 minutes back. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, David, for bringing your knowledge and expertise to the table on today's webinar. You'd love to see it. So just as an additional reminder, you will get a recording and the slides afterwards, so keep an eye on your inbox for that. Stay tuned for more. We do have a few more webinars planned for later on, so always hit us up on our LinkedIn or keep an eye on your inbox for updates on those. And I think that that about covers it all. Thank you so much, everybody, again, one last time for joining us today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.